Welcome to Cash Talk, the podcast where we delve into the depths of finance, business, and life itself. I'm your host, John Cachia, a multi-award-winning wealth advisor with a passion for empowering ambitious Australians to confidently achieve financial freedom. Hey everyone, before we get started, this is a quick reminder that everything in this podcast is of a general nature and nothing has been tailored to your personal circumstances. So please seek personal financial advice before acting on this information. Hello and welcome back to Cash Talk, and today I'm joined by Mason. Mason, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. I'm going really, really well.
Yeah, it feels a bit brighter in here, doesn't it?
Yeah, really bright in here for episode 100.
Hey, we had to change it up. Episode 100, we're here celebrating. You know, I remember when I first started doing these episodes, and it was out of our office, and we were starting to do those, but we also had some virtually as well too that were mixed up in there. So it's been a journey in regards to this, but you know, some of the feedback and some of the comments that we've been getting has been absolutely great, and you know, we really appreciate everyone's support over the journey. But you know, we thought we'd start off the next 100 with a little bit of a brighter scene, because it was getting a bit doom and gloom, wasn't it, Mason?
Very much so. Very much so. Very dark. I like the dark, to be honest, but you know, into the light now.
Yeah, no, that's it. But I also got away for a few weeks recently, and I went to a conference which is called the MDRT Conference. It's an annual meeting that gets done every single year with some of the most elite financial advisors around the world. And I was very humbly speaking at the event and had an opportunity to meet some really, really great advisors from around the world, but also around some speakers as well too. And today we kind of want to unpack some of their teaching, some of their wisdom that they've passed on as well too. Hopefully we'll give you a bit of that insights as well too. But it's really around some things that really make, maybe not the words make, but you need to be successful in both money and in life. Yeah. And hearing it from, in the finance world, some household names is really kind of, how can I say it? It's really warming to hear that even some of the things that we're doing in Thriving Wealth in Australia and, you know, leading in is also being replicated on the international stage, but at a really, really grand level. And one of those household names was Morgan Housel. And I know, Mason, that you've read his books, but, you know, listening to him, having the opportunity to meet him, it was really eye-opening for a lot of the advisors that I was around, but really validating for me to hear around, you know, if you really want to master the money game, it's not about mastering the numbers, the PE. It's more about mastering the psychology. And he was saying to a lot of advisors around, hey, if you want to be really, really epic for your clients and help them have a successful life, you really need to master the psychology game. And from reading his books, and obviously, you know, you weren't there, but you see that coming through, don't you?
Absolutely. And I must admit, I was incredibly jealous
Sorry, mate.
when I saw that Morgan Housel was speaking, because for all us money nerds, he's the pinnacle of that.
But not for all people though. Like, I would say that there's a lot of people that will look to the likes of, you know, Jack Bogle and Warren Buffett, and we say that they're some of the forefathers in regards to the modern day investing techniques. But Morgan Housel in recent times has really kind of shaped a different form of financial advice, hasn't he?
He definitely has. If you do read his books, he focuses really nothing on the numbers, and it's all about the behaviours. And he tells great stories about his life and how it relates to investing and just behaviour in general. And he's fantastic. And his speech, also you were there live. I read the speech because you provided the transcript of it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was, and I think one of the things that we're finding in modern society is around, when I grew up, it was keeping up with the Joneses. Then media started to get a bit more wider, and then it was keeping up with the Kardashians. But now we're really kind of benchmarking our success on what's being fed in our Instagram feeds, in our TikTok, and in our whatnot. And he used the 1950s as a bit of a benchmark around like what our expectations were, what success looked like for them. Do you want to just unpack that little bit of that comparison, Mason? And obviously to set the scene, where post-World War II here, the thriving 50s, you know, they say that, you know, when you go back and you look about the 50s was for human society like the most flourishing years. You've just gone out of a really traumatic period in regards to World War II. So this is why the comparison between the 1950s.
Yeah, absolutely. And Morgan uses a really great example. So he uses our homes as an example, and comparing our homes then to now. And in the 1950s, the average amount of bathrooms per person was 1 per 2 people. And that's 3 now. So our houses are getting bigger. And back in the 1950s, we would see our neighbours and, oh, my house looks similar to their house, therefore I'm doing okay. However, fast forward to today, not only are we seeing our neighbours' houses that may be bigger than ours, we're seeing everyone's houses who they post online. So we're comparing to everyone, not just our neighbourhood now. And all of a sudden it's like, I feel behind. So the expectation now is I need to earn more to have more. And it's a constant running that rat race on that hamster wheel constantly.
It's unrelenting to people now too. You know, it's Instagram is, or TikTok or whatever it is a person's highlight reel. It's not the realities of normal life. You know, even myself, I'm not going to post on Instagram where my kid is, you know, throwing tantrums, and yet there's this beautiful, well, yeah, my kid throws tantrums. It's very interesting around, okay, we've got this new social media world that's there, but I also think, Mason, there's this, if it's from that, if it's always been there, we benchmark our success on the comparison of our peers. I think that's always been there. So what I mean by that is around, I've been in business for 15 years. This person's been in business for 15 years. He told me he's earning $1 million of profit. I'm only earning 800. So therefore, like, I feel like I'm not good enough. Comparison is really the thief of contentment. And it's really concerning, because I think, like I said, I think it's always been there, but it's getting worse. But then what can we do about it is the flip about this. Like, we know it's there and we know there's the problem, but what can we do about it?
It is really challenging, because we are earning more than we ever have. But I think we are more financially stressed than we ever have been. And that's based on what we were saying before. Expectations rising faster than income. So I think a lot of the time we are focusing on, what are the returns I need? I need a 10% return, I need a 12% return. We're focused on that side of the equation rather than focusing on this side of the equation that's around our expectations. How do we control our expectations? And funnily enough, that's what we have more control over. Our expectations and what we want out of life, what is enough for us, rather than saying, oh, I need to outperform the market, I need a 10% return. We can't control that. So it's funny that we do focus on that numbers side, because I think it is easy to see the numerical return and say, oh, I outperform the market, I'm doing well, rather than saying, no, my expectations, I'm living a life to what I want and I have enough. And if that's an 8% return, then that's fantastic.
You've intentionally used the word enough, Mason. And I know Morgan Housel spoke about it a lot. I use it as well too, is understanding when's it enough. I think there's this fight that we have with ourselves mentally is around when you get to enough. And I see this with people who are successful. They get to enough, but then the bar of enough, they sit there and then it moves again. And so how do you figure out when's it enough? And then also, like, how do you fight with how can I put this? How can you fight with the urge that once you've got enough, is it really enough?
$1 million question, isn't it? But I think what we do and we speak to our clients a lot about is reverse engineering the dream life.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what does this actually look like? And we encourage our clients to dream, because I think often we have this ceiling that we don't even know we're putting on ourselves. Like, it's unrealistic to go overseas every year, so I'm not even going to think about it. We encourage our clients to dream. So if there's something you truly want to do, let's plan for it and reverse engineer the number then. So to get that goal, we need this amount of money, and that's your enough.
It's interesting. Then there's 2 points that happen. You've got the fear of losing the enough, and you've got the greed of, okay, well, I've got to enough. Maybe my bar was too low. I now need to move to more than enough. And you've got to plan that it is going to happen. Like, not that I haven't seen anyone, but it's very rare that I come across someone that actually gets to they've dreamed big, they've achieved all of it, and enough is truly enough. You know, Morgan was even speaking about, like, even his rarity of seeing when someone goes to enough is enough. And he was using a person that, for example, capped his net wealth. So once his net wealth got to a certain figure, everything above that, he literally gave it to charity, because enough is enough, you know? So we need to be aware that we're always going to fight with that, and that's okay. But it's more around you just being aware that you're going to be pulled emotionally into those things. And this has nothing really to do with the financial side of things. This has really got to do with your psychology. What are you buying into? Hey, listen, the person's got the new G-Wagon. Do I need the new G-Wagon? Well, you need to really ask yourself, like, is that really what I want? And this was going to be on the next part of that is around, we've spoken before on this podcast, but it's really validating to hear, you know, are you living your life or are you living someone else's? And this goes back to keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with back in the 1950s, what news were you getting? You were getting the news off the radio. Because it was very limited, what were you getting? You were getting feeds of, you know, very important news. You weren't getting the news that 2 blocks down the street, someone's upgraded their home. Whereas now on your feed, you are getting the new this, the new that, the features. I know, for example, we're building at the moment. And so I'm getting all of the, you know, Melbourne's hotspot houses and the new this and the blah, blah, blah. And it's very distracting. It is very distracting. So, you know, are you doing things, for example, in your house? Are you doing things in your life just to appease everyone else? Or is it truly what you want, you know? So I think we need to be aware of what's going on, and we need to be able to fight that. And I think the other one is around, it's a very, very depressing life if you walk years and years and years and get close to your deathbed only to realize that you've lived a lie. So Mason, I think going down to this is around figuring out what's truly enough, dreaming enough so that you don't get to enough and think, oh, it's not enough. Which probably brings me on to one of the other speakers that I spoke about is around, his name's Juan, and he was speaking around how people lack goals, but also have lacked the confidence or the confidence to achieve them as well. And that really resonated with me, because so many people, if I ask them, what's it all for, have no clue. Do you see the same?
Absolutely. And I loved reading his speech. He had quite an interesting backstory, and I won't go into it here, but it's something for people to look into. He wanted to be a writer and had no one believing in him. And how long he carried that story with him, and the confidence that, I will never be a writer because my teacher told me I wouldn't be. It shows you how powerful confidence is.
And also, just so you know, he's an international world's best author now. Like he's so to just put the context, he went from no one believing in him to that. Yep.
So not only is confidence powerful, but so is lack of confidence. They're both powerful and two sides of that same coin. So being able to develop that belief in yourself is key to achieving these goals, because we all have goals, whether we define them or not. I think we all have them, but that lack of belief to actually achieve them. And I think it's a lot easier to just pretend you don't have the goals, because it's, well, if I don't tell anyone, I can't fail. And he tells a story as well. I said I wasn't going to get into it, but it's important. He sent his transcript for his book to, I think it was 29 different publishers, one after the other. No, thank you. Not for us, not for us, not for us. On that 29th go, this is right down our alley. Let's meet up. And I think it was Penguin.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones. That was the 29th. If he gave up at 23, he wouldn't have got that. So failure helps actually build confidence. And I think we want to skip failing because it's hard. It can be public sometimes. And we sort of want to fail in secret. But actually, failure is all part of it.
It's a part of the learning.
Yeah.
It's a part of the way that confidence is built up to say, hey, I always used to say, like, the first time I got punched in the face, it was nowhere near as hard on my face as what I thought it would be. Now, I use that as a physical one. How much of the thoughts do we have of failing are so much worse than when it actually does fail? And so people that are really successful in life learn to fail a lot. Yeah. And when you were saying that, and when I was hearing Juan live about this, I couldn't help but think about when I work with, say, you, Mason, or when I work, when I'm with my children. I'm not just telling, or clients, it's not just around telling them, hey, dream big. It's the secondary part, and it's around instilling the confidence that dream is going to happen. And I was working with a client yesterday, funnily enough, and we're working with setting some business profit goals for this guy. And it was on email, and the first thing he came back with was, no way that can happen. Now, in my eyes, it looked very achievable. But the first thing, because of discomfort in regards to growth, was, no, that can't happen. And once I showed him, stepped out the goal, reversed engineered it, like you said, I called him, I broke it down, and I could see the confidence happen. Now, that confidence is only temporary. He's got to obviously get what runs on the board. He's got to work with, yes, he's going to fail a few times before he gets there. But if we don't set that goal, he would never achieve that. It just wouldn't happen. Here we were talking yesterday around, like, how long has your revenue numbers and your profit numbers been where they are? And he was telling me that they've been like this for 2 years. So there hasn't been no push to a higher level. But the reality is around us, did you set those goals? No, I didn't. So we're very much, when we do people's, plans and work with them on achieving their lives, we work on goals. But I talk about with my children. My eldest, and when he talks, he talks with confidence. One thing I've really tried to teach my children is around confidence. No one's better than you. You're not better than anyone else. When you walk into a room, you need to ooze confidence. Confidence that you need to be in that room. You deserve to be in that room. If you're presenting your book to a publisher, you deserve to be putting your book in front of that publisher. You need to have the confidence to be able to do that, but you also need to have the grit, the thick skin to go, if they say no, that's cool. That just means that my book's not for them. My book might be for someone else, but I deserve to be in this. If that's truly your goal and that's what you want to achieve, no one should be saying no to you, and especially yourself. And Mason, words are super important. You know, I get so hell-bent on my children when they call each other names. Because it instills this like level of like, let's say my eldest would say to my middle one, "You're dumb." I will pull him up on that. I will pull him up. Stop saying that. Your brother's not dumb. And I will make sure that I speak to my middle one and try to discard what was said. You are not dumb. You are very smart. Yeah. Everything you want to achieve, you do. And then I will double down on his achievements in regards to what he did to kind of stop that word of my older brother calling me dumb. But we hear these words, what I'm getting at, ourselves all the time, either to ourselves, social media, all the time. That's ruining people's confidence. Therefore, their dreams that are turned into goals and then goals get completely diminished simply by the lack of confidence.
Absolutely. And humans are wired to have negativity bias. I think it's something like 80% of our thoughts are negative and 95% of our thoughts repeat. So we've got this 80% negativity repeating 95% of the time. So you can, as you just said there, like if your middle child, I'm dumb. If you don't squash that out, it's going to repeat, I'm dumb. And then you believe that. And of course that's going to impact confidence. But put that on a bigger scale, if on Instagram, I don't look like that person, or I don't earn enough, I don't earn as much as that person, of course your confidence gets diminished. But I think as well, on the pursuit to confidence, it can't be too easy. Because if it's too easy, how can you gain confidence from that?
Yes.
Like, I enjoy my fitness, and you look at some people who have six packs, for example. It's not like they look okay; they're a bit weird. If you actually think about it, six packs look a bit odd, like they're rocks on a stomach. But you know how hard it is to get to that point, and that's why it's so admirable. Because it's not an easy fix. And that's why people have that confidence, because they've earned it.
Yeah, correct.
So if Juan got the book deal on the first go, he wouldn't have got any confidence from that. It's like, it's this easy.
And I think, Mason, you go back to like some of the stuff that we've studied and a lot of the research that we've done. It's that shift. So confidence helps you to get towards the goal. Once you've achieved the goal, you start to change your identity. You go from the person trying to be fit to the person who is fit. I'm a fit person. But then you've got to learn from what you've previously learned before is around, how do I go to that next stage? Like, I used to beat myself up a bit. I used to say, like, I'm a better business person than I am a financial advisor. And then I win Financial Advisor of the Year. That changed my thought process. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, like, how can I say that I'm an okay financial advisor if I'm at the pinnacle of our profession? But I think what I was getting mixed up with was the business I was in was helping people achieve their goals and aspirations. And I was so hell-bent on that. It inadvertently gave me a winning advantage in regards to becoming a great financial advisor, good financial advisor. So, but you've known me for a while, it was this confidence and this pursuit of this goal to be so impactful on people's lives, which got me to where I did. But am I the perfect financial advisor? No one's perfect. But for me to achieve that, looking at myself, well, I dreamt a goal. It was a goal. There was a plan. And then there was confidence. And I think if I look at the moments in my life that I have been the most successful, has been the moments where I'm confident in who I am. You know, my son, we speak about when I was on the MCG, we got like a quarter time KFC kick, yeah? And I had to do this exercise on the MCG. Anyway, you kind of go around in circles, get a ball, go through these. So you're feeling very dizzy, grab the ball, and then you got to kick it through the goal. My son had like no confidence in me. He told me, he's like, "Dad, you're not like, I didn't have confidence that you're going to do this, you know, blah, 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 blah." But the reality is I smashed the time, kicked a goal. The guy who I was up against absolutely destroyed him. He was much fitter than me. But I will tell you, Mason, in my mind, it was always like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to smash it. I'm going to smash it in front of 100,000 people and I'm going to kick the goal. But I'm using that as like a window, looking at my own journey and probably your own journey. It's when you have the confidence to say, this is mine, own it, and go 100% at it. Don't you agree?
100%. And a lot what I've took from that was, and what I've learned in my own time is the behavior must come first.
Yes.
Because it's like, once I am fit, I'll do the thing that fit people do. And using your business analogy before, if you want to have a $10 million business, you need to act like someone who has a $10 million business first. You can't continue to act like someone who's got $1 million business and expect to have a $10 million business. The behavior must come first. And then with that, the confidence becomes. So you need to instill the behavior first and that identity piece, be that person first, and then you become that person.
Well said, Mason. I think if you looked at your finances and you said, let's say you're worth $500,000 and you're earning $100,000 a year. For you to earn $500,000 and be worth 10 mil, what needs to change in your behaviors? And that's the difference. Most people aren't willing to go, hey, listen, who do I need to become to do that? And that does come with confidence. You need people in your corner. You need yourself, more importantly, to give yourself the confidence to go, no, I deserve to be that. But I deserve isn't just one, that's one step. It's all right, cool. Second step is all right, well, what do I need to change in my behavior to be able to do that? And then, but boiling down to kind of link what Juan was talking about, what we've been talking about, and even back to Morgan. Are you earning the $500,000 a year and it's worth 10 mil because you saw that on Instagram and that's what you think that you need to do? Or is that your enough? Is that what's going to give you your enough? And so I was away for 3 weeks and Mason, I haven't even shared this with you, so I'm sharing it live. Like we were getting every day client reviews on Google, and I was seeing some of their comments, and I was seeing I read a lot of our advisors' file notes when they have conversations with clients, and I'm just reading like clients referring other clients and like why they were referred and the conversations they were having. And we've been on this journey to like merge this, kind of give them the roadmap, give them the confidence, help them become where they need to become. And we're probably around maybe 5 years, 6 years on that maybe a little bit more, 2018. So what are we, geez, a bit more than that, nearly 8 years down the track now. But seeing not only what our clients are achieving themselves, but now the advocacy of the clients, it really humbles me, Mason, because now there's on the world stage, the most elite in our industry going and saying, hey, listen, not just advisors, but clients, if you want to have a really successful life, not just money, you really need to do what Thriving Wealth is doing. I can't put it anything else, Mason, but to say it was really humbling having that helicopter view, reading the file notes, reading the reviews, seeing the client referrals from other clients coming in and sharing why they're coming to see us because of the experience and the life that other people are having. And it's not that our clients statistically have more Lamborghinis than other people don't, but their happiness levels based on the moments that they're able to share is greater than most. And, I could go on for this because I had even a client yesterday call me in Bali. So I'm like, why are you calling me in Bali? He was calling me in Bali because he had a conversation with one of his family members about funny, Mason, is around, he had a full heated conversation with a family member because the family member told him that his private school fees for his kids can be tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into that conversation. But he was talking to me about one of his concerns, actually, while we were on the conversation around how's Bali, how's everything going. He's like, one of my concerns is that I'm living my dream life. I'm earning really good money. You know what I mean? I'm not working like a dog. I'm able to holiday when I want to holiday. I've got the house that I want. I've got the pool that I want. This is all of what he wants and his wife wants. But he goes, now what I'm battling with is my children's entitlement issues. And I said, oh, well, this is a conversation for another day. But why this is important is, Mason, is now what we're working with is the intergenerational shifts. Because the 50s, they learnt from the atrocities from World War II. But as that kind of got diluted over time, we're now in an experience where World War II is something that you watch on the History Channel. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not even a lot of people that lived through that now that are passing on those experiences. But the kids aren't seeing the pain. You talked about it before, Mason, around the confidence and the abs, and you can build a successful life for yourself, but ruin it for your children. You know, think about that. And he hasn't ruined it for his children. He's probably listening to this, so you haven't ruined it for your children. They're still young and you can still mold them. But fast forward, I've got plenty of clients that are in their 60s and stuff like that have gone, no, please teach my children what we didn't teach them because of that issue. So Mason, I think there's this element of you, like I said before, you can build a successful life for yourself, but ruin it for your children.
Absolutely can. And we do see it, and clients are concerned about these things, and we talk them through, and we do educate a lot, which is one of my favorite parts of the job, to educate the younger generation. But there's some you said at the start of your speech just then, and it really resonated. I was just thinking about, we've talked about confidence and what's enough and breaking ceilings and these. So what's enough, but also don't leave anything on the table as well. And you can see why this is such a challenge. And when you were saying, I was like, yeah, this is hard, because you don't want to leave anything on the table because you want to achieve your potential, as we all do. But we also want to have enough and getting that balance right.
That's the thing that scares me, Mason. The thing that scares me, and I think it's my driving force, and maybe people have a different driving force, and I'd love to know, so if you're watching these, put them in the comments, is around sitting on your deathbed, going and saying, did I have a proper crack? Did I have a proper crack? Like, am I going to go thinking, oh, I should have lived life a little bit more? Should have. No. It scares me, Mason. It scares me, but I think that's more around, I can just talk about myself. I'm not benchmarking that on should I have had a bigger home? Should I have bought a Ferrari at this block? It's not that. For me, it's around, did I spend time with the people I love, doing the things I love doing? Like, if you had to say what my mantra of life is, my benchmark's on that. Mason, at the moment, I have moments with my children, like, and fun ones. I don't miss moments. So if I had to go tomorrow, pray to God that doesn't happen. I've done whatever I can, I think, possible to make sure that happens, spending time with the people I love. Now, am I doing what I want to do? Well, my life right now is being the advisor of advisors, mentoring people and seeing them grow and flourish. That really ticks my box. I really like doing that. I really enjoy doing that. I don't know. I've got this sense of, Mason, like, when I help people grow and seeing them achieve goals, selfishly, it means so much to me. So am I seeing the world? I love history. Love history. Like me being able to go to the pyramids and be in the great pyramids, and being able for me to go to Ephesus and walk where St. Paul walked. And I probably think the only one I'm really dying to really get to is to go to Israel, like to go to Jerusalem. For me to be able to kind of go in the holy city, and both for Jews and for Muslims and for Christians, being able to kind of just see how that diverse, for me, I really want to get there. Obviously, my wife not so much wants me to kind of go, especially at this time, but there's not that I don't get sucked into it. I do get sucked into it, but it's enough for me is more around enough moments with the people I love and enough moments doing what I love doing, which is growing other people. And just because of what I do, I love it, is learning, experiencing things.
Well, to me, that sounds like you've chosen the right metrics there, because not once did you mention a dollar figure. It was moments, and these moments are surrounded in your values, family, faith. So if you're measuring your life based on those metrics, yes, money's a tool to achieve these things, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're not the metrics you're going to judge your life on. You're not going to get to your deathbed and say, oh, I saw $10 million in my bank account. That's
and
fantastic.
I think, Mason, that's the difference between like, hey, do I need to push harder to get more money? Like, yes, you got to get a certain level of money to get to that level to be able to do that. And that's where that pursuit of happiness, if you want to call it, the pursuit of happiness, to get to that point. But then beyond that, I'd actually say it's the opposite, Mason. The pursuit for money will take away, it'll be the thief of contentment. Because that's where it's like, okay, well, now I need to push harder. Okay, are you actually being able to go to that soccer match? Are you with your kid? Are you able to do that? And I think that's the difference between figuring out enough is around, what's your metrics? What are you benchmarking as? And are you telling your money what to do, or is your money telling you what to do?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our conversation today is also revolved around confidence and managing expectations. And I think for different people, one will be harder than the other. Because I just think about myself, and managing expectations, I think I'm really good at. The confidence piece has always been a challenge for me. And I know ever since joining Thriving Wealth, working under you, I feel I'm far more confident.
I think that's worked really well. And I agree, Mason. I think that's where having a good support group, it's not my eldest son telling my younger son, you're dumb. I don't do that to you. It's like, you can be the best you can be. So I agree with that.
I think having those people around you to help grow your confidence, I think who you surround yourself with is who you emulate. So I think that's been really key for me and to grow my confidence. And I think I've got a long way to go as well. But I think something that's helped me is, I think it was Theodore Roosevelt, so don't quote me if I'm wrong, but he wrote the speech about the man in the arena. And I'm not going to say what the speech was because I'll butcher it. But basically it's about the person in the arena is doing the thing. And those watching the person in the arena, they can shout abuse at the person, they can shout their judgment, all these things. But ultimately, they're sitting in the stands. They're not actually doing the thing. So the person actually doing the thing, taking the chance, taking the risk to build that confidence, good on them.
Yeah.
They're actually doing the thing.
Correct.
And I encourage people to look up that speech because it's actually fantastic and it's really helped me a lot when I'm feeling not so confident to do a thing or post something on social media, these types of things. You're actually doing the thing and you should feel confident in just doing the thing.
Great work. And I want to leave everyone with kind of one final side to this that we haven't discussed today, and it's around being patient. Everything that we've spoken about requires a level of patience. And I say to people, like, be careful what you pray for, okay? because God works not in your time, he works on his time, and his time is much more infinite than your time. But taking it back to like just your normal goals, when we get sucked into Instagram and TikTok and all of these things, it's this instant gratification, this instant, I made this effort, therefore this needs to happen. There is sometimes not days, there is years of effort, practice, building towards goals. Be patient. That's been really good, Mason, and hopefully you got a lot out of that, everyone. I know that was really heartwarming for me to share on our 100th episode. But if you're loving these podcasts, make sure you like and subscribe on all major channels and share them to your friends and family. I love seeing the comments, so keep those coming in on YouTube and on Spotify and stuff like that as well too. So thank you very much. And until next time, thanks everyone.